if you post for 100 days in a row at 9 a.m. and you're consistent with it, one of your posts is bound to gain a ton of traction. You only need one to draw the attention of a new client or a new person that follows you or 100,000 people that follow you overnight. That happens. It does happen. But it won't happen if you don't show up for yourself.
This is Work in Progress. I'm your host, Gail Calvert. And yes, I'm a work in progress. Today's guest is Sara Uy, better known as SellingSara. With 92,000 followers on LinkedIn, and that's just as of today, and a growing presence on TikTok, Sara has mastered the art of building her personal brand while staying true to her sales roots. She's not afraid to cold call, and her hands-on approach to sales has earned her a reputation as one of the most authentic voices in the industry. In today's episode, Sara shares her journey from traditional sales to building a business that helps others level up their sales career. She talks about the power of consistency in building a personal brand, how to get started on social media, and gives us 3 actionable tips to kickstart your own brand today. So let's get into it. Sara, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited for this conversation.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
No, this is awesome. We're going to have a great conversation. And what we're going to talk about is really on the tip of everybody's tongue. Being an influencer, building a brand, it's no longer just B2C, right? It is here in B2B. I'm really, really excited about that. I think this is a lot of fun. So let's just get into it. Can you start by telling our listeners just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So, hi, everyone. My name is Sara Uy. I am from Long Island. I grew up there my whole life until I actually went to college in Connecticut. So I went to Fairfield University. So tri-state girl, East Coast girl, Northeast, whatever you want to call it. And then I moved to New York City, which I've been ever since, graduating in 2019. So was a huge athlete growing up, played soccer in college. Still try to stay super active when it comes to that, but I needed to really find a way to keep my competitive nature, but put that into a profession. So I stumbled across a sales career, and it's been the best decision I've ever made, honestly. So it's opened so many doors that I never knew was possible. And then kind of just sharing that journey on social media has opened a whole nother door as well that I never even knew existed until recently. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, awesome. And I love that when you talked about finding a place to keep your competitiveness alive in your career. I'm really vocal about sales, especially for women. I think sales is a career that a lot of people kind of poo-poo, maybe. I also went to a small university in New England, and sales isn't really the thing that everybody thinks about doing, but there is so much opportunity and so much growth. I think building a career in sales, starting in sales, is going to serve anyone that is willing to take that leap. It's not easy. No. Should get more respect. And I think it's an awesome, awesome move. So why don't we talk about your transition from working in sales to starting your own business? How did that happen?
Sure. So when I graduated in 2019, I got recruited right out of college to work at a company called Pareto, which is very near and dear to my heart because it really grew with me, and I felt like I grew with the company, and I kind of got in at the right time, I would say. They had a London HQ, and most of the business was over in the UK, and they came over to the other side of the pond in New York City in about 2015, and I got there 2019. There, I really learned the basic fundamentals of how to be successful in business as someone who was a recent graduate. And I think in the beginning, Pareto had a ton of old school, really traditional guidelines as to how to be successful. And to be honest, I'm so thankful for that because I think it taught me just a lot about, how to be professional in the workplace, who to ask for guidance, where to go for advice, what to learn. And I think as we got a little bit older in New York City, we obviously modernized with everybody else. And through COVID, there were definitely a lot of growing pains. A lot of people got let go, but I was very grateful to keep my job throughout that entire, COVID years, I guess you would say. And throughout my time there, and especially during COVID, we were all obviously sent home like the rest of the world. And I ended up being the only standing salesperson left. And that's when I had to start cold calling. So as you could imagine, cold calling in your childhood bedroom by yourself, working from home, was like probably the lowest low I could ever encounter. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to quit because like this is it for me. And thank God for my mom, who's also a business owner. And I look up to her very much so. But she was like, literally, you're not going to quit. Like, that you can't live in this house if you're going to quit. And I was like, oh God, okay. So it led me to start posting on TikTok, which honestly, I didn't even know what that was. Like when I started doing it, I was just like, I'm going to do this because I have nothing better to do and I have no one to talk to and I'm an only child. So it's like, this is what I do best is like entertain myself. So I found this app, TikTok. Everyone was talking about it. And I just started sharing like my live cold calls of me just cold calling. And literally overnight, there were like hundreds of thousands of people that were viewing my videos being like, oh my God, I'm doing the same thing. It's so nice to know that I'm not the only one sitting home feeling like a loser calling people that aren't answering me for hours and hours and hours. So it obviously grew over the years to this huge thing that I never knew what would happen. And ultimately, my page is now just an entire page of sales tips, sales advice, still live cold calls because that's, true to what really started everything. But I became this Sara from Pareto because that was my opener when I cold called people. It was, hey, this is Sara over at Pareto, or hey, this is Sara at Pareto. So literally in the streets going to Pareto, like even last year when I was still there, a year and a half ago now, I'd get off the subway and someone would tap me and be like, are you Sara from Pareto? And I'm like, yeah, I'm literally walking to Pareto right now. And they're like, we just want to thank you for all the sales tips and advice. Like you convinced me to like start a career in sales. I've learned so much about myself. Or I've gotten people that are like, I started a sales career because of you. So it was just like a really, really cool experience to encounter when I never even knew that was like in the cards for me. It kind of just happened. And I guess you could say it's still evolving, still kind of going on and on now that I started, my career as a entrepreneur and a business owner of SellingSara. So that's kind of where we are in 2025.
What you just said about people stopping you on the street and thanking you, I just want to pause on that and really emphasize because again and again and again and again, what we see is that people who are successful like you in building a successful brand and really monetizing themselves when they are online in any channel is that the two things I wrote down when you were talking is that you were authentic and you were vulnerable. And I know we hear this all the time, but I don't think that everybody really knows how to do it. And what you said was like you were in your childhood bedroom in COVID, right? I mean, that's hard. And when you're cold calling or doing anything that takes courage and starting your own business, working and being successful always involves taking risks and doing scary things. You've got to find something internally to motivate you, right? I do that now. You always have to. And it's that much harder when you're physically in a situation like COVID and back at home and in this environment, and that you shared that with people. Didn't hide that from people, but actually shared like, yeah, this is what it actually fucking looks like when you are cold calling, right? And it's COVID and all of that. And so it's not a mystery to me in how you've created a really successful following and really helped people along the way. So that you've told me basically organically led to what is SellingSara.
Yep.
Is that correct? Talk about that transition out of Pareto to your own business.
Yeah, I think it was honestly probably one of the hardest things I did. Like I was super excited, but I loved working at Pareto. Like I still get people that I speak to or walk into in the streets and they're like, why'd you leave? And I'm like, listen, it was really an amazing way to start my career and I learned so much, but it was almost like I saw this opportunity to train on the sales training side. And I was kind of like, if I don't give this a shot now, I'm going to regret never giving it a go, right? So it was definitely a really hard decision that I had to make because I tell people all the time, like, I didn't leave for a specific reason. You hear a lot of people that are like, oh, I was treated badly, this and that. No, like everyone I love at Pareto, I still see them all the time. That transition was really hard because making the decision to leave was probably like one of the hardest things because I didn't want to leave. But I was like, if I don't try this, I'm going to regret it. And I was lucky enough to have a really great relationship with them to the point where they were like, we know you're going to kill it, but if you ever want to come back, the door is always open. So if there's one thing that I would say to anyone listening to this, it's don't burn bridges on your way out, because I think a lot of people feel like they need to find a bridge to burn in order to leave, but it's not always necessarily the case. And, in a job market like we're in 2025, you truly never know what's going to happen. And also, I can tell you right now, the grass is not always greener. So a lot of people come straight back to where they were. And that's exactly why you don't want to burn bridges as well, right? So luckily, it worked out for me in the best way possible. And now they're some of my biggest supporters at Pareto, which is amazing. But making that jump was really hard.
Yeah, amazing. I literally wrote down don't burn bridges, and then you said it because it is true. Right now, 2025, right? Could things be moving any quicker, and could things be more unknown almost, right? I'm optimistic, but still there's just so much unknown in the business world right now. And what will careers look like, and where will everybody be working in a year, 5 years, et cetera? And your network is your capital. Never want to burn bridges. I love that you said you don't have to find a reason to leave or a reason to burn, right? This can be sort of an organic next step for anyone who might want to leave a corporate, stable environment to go out on their own. Okay, let's get to the stuff that everybody's waiting to hear. Building your personal brand. We know, I can speak anyway, as an agency founder and CEO, I focus on B2B marketing, and we know that buyers are buyers, right? Even if we are buying for our organization or our company, we are consumers, and we should be marketed to as consumers. So I love, love, love that we are really focusing on individuals building their personal brand. I think this is relevant for people who are working at a corporation, right? You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You should be building your personal brand. That's going to help your corporation and yourself and your career. So we've touched on this. You've made me more consistent. You've said that consistency has been key for you. So what do you want to tell our listeners? What does consistency mean?
It truly means showing up every single day. Not 3 times a week, not twice a week, not 4 times a week, 7 days a week. It is truly like a full-time job. And I never believed people when they said that until I started doing it. But I think probably the most overused word when someone tells somebody else advice on starting a personal brand is like, be authentic. Like, no one can copy and paste you. You're already being authentic unless you're copying word for word what another person is saying in another video. Like, be yourself. That's why people end up following you. But being consistent is key. So, for example, obviously I've told you this, which I love that you're sticking to, but I don't start my workday without posting on LinkedIn every single day at 9 a.m. At that time, I didn't even know you could follow someone on LinkedIn. Like, I didn't know that was like a thing. That you just like connect with them and walk away. You're like, all right, they're in my network. Like, here we go. But I went from 2,000 followers 2 years ago to 92,000 today, just by posting on LinkedIn every day at 9 a.m.
Are you telling me that you have never missed one weekday since you started?
Oh, no, I've missed. I've
Okay.
missed. 100% I've missed.
So I don't have to set myself on fire because I missed a day or two.
No, of course not. And I think, there's days too that you're going to hit like a content block, or you're just going to feel burnt out, like just like sales, right? I look at it like sales, right? So for example, sales is all about, you hear activity breeds rewards. That's true. Of course, there's a lot of other true things too, and people will sit here and be like, oh, well, it's not all about activity. Of course not. But think of it like this. If you make 300 cold calls in a day, you're bound to speak to one person, right? If you post for 100 days in a row at 9 a.m. and you're consistent with it, one of your posts is bound to gain a ton of traction, right? And you only need one. You only need one to draw the attention of a new client or a new person that follows you, or 100,000 people that follow you overnight. That happens. It does happen. But it won't happen if you don't show up for yourself. So that's the message that I want to get across for that. It's just like being consistent, because you never know what door it can open for you.
Hey there, quick pause. If you're enjoying this episode, drop a comment right here on YouTube or Spotify. It could be a moment that stuck with you, something you related to, or maybe you have a question that you'd like us to answer. When you do, you'll be entered to win some work in progress swag. We're talking super cozy hoodies. It's free, it's cute, and who doesn't love a good hoodie? All right, let's get back to it. Can we give one tip here for people who are really scared? For somebody who's listening to us and they want to do this, but they are scared, how does that person get started?
Yeah, I think it's hard, right? Because in the beginning, you don't know what to post, right? But my advice would be like, if there is some sort of topic or thought that pops into your head, and let's be honest, we all have 1,000 million trillion thoughts a day. You can't tell me that you have nothing up there. There's something. And you think, oh, that would be a really good topic to talk about. And not only that, it's something that I'm passionate about. It's going to be that much easier to go online and press post when you're talking about something that popped into your head, but also something that you're passionate about. Again, it's like sales. It's so much easier to sell something that you're passionate about. When you're passionate about the product or service, you're going to come across more authentic when you're selling. And it's going to be more of a natural conversation than a very salesy call, right? Same thing with social media. When you're talking about something that you're passionate about, and you're tying that back to something that could be educational for somebody else to take away from, you're golden, right? So a lot easier said and done. Don't feel like you need to go away and create like this whole content strategy. Like for me, truthfully, I just post what comes into my head. If I think of, oh, wow, that was a really challenging conversation, I talk about it and I post about it on TikTok. And I don't necessarily have to give a solution or give a piece of advice, but by talking about that one challenge I had, it draws conversation to people start engaging and saying, oh, this is how I would have overcome this, or this is what I would have suggested, or you handled it the right way. And drawing in conversation is exactly what pushes your post out even more. So I think if you could, record a video or write something out. If writing is your thing and you don't want to be behind screen, that's totally fine. There are so many written posts on LinkedIn that go viral that don't include a picture or a video. So like there's hope for people out there that don't want to put their face behind a post, and that's totally fine. I think it's just asking yourself after you've written it out, is this authentic to me? Did this really happen to me? One. And two, can someone take something from this? And is it educational? Or I call it like edutainment, like it's entertainment, but it's also educational. So if you can read that back and be like, yeah, this is both, then that's like the perfect formula. And if it does really well, then that's probably something that you should stick to in terms of like your niche. If another post that you think does really is going to do really well and it doesn't, then maybe you stick to that first post or along those lines of guidelines and topics and subjects that you're speaking about.
Repetition is key. It takes 5 to 7 touches to get someone to take an action, right? Mm-hmm. I always remind my clients, you can't send one email or do one thing and think that you're going to get results. Takes repetition. Same thing with social media. And this took a lot of weight off my shoulders for my own posting, is that you really should only have, in my opinion, 3 or 4 things that you talk about. And you are continuing to talk about those 3 or 4 things regularly. So don't feel like you have to be some expert or thought leader on everything. Like you said, niche. Like, what is it that keeps coming up for you? That's one way I have used AI to help me. And I want to be really clear, like, do not use AI to write your posts. That's not what I'm saying. But what AI has helped me do is take what is the million thoughts that go through my head all the time. I literally like vomit all my thoughts, or I will take like my iPhone notes and put like a ton of them in AI, and it pulls out like, here's what you are talking about, thinking about, asking about regularly.
I love that. I never even thought to do that, to be honest, but that makes so much sense because it probably categorizes your thoughts into like 3 buckets. And that's really what you need, exactly what you said. So I absolutely love that because I would definitely ask yourself, like, what are the 3 things that I like talking about the most? And it could be random, right? If it's like food, work, my dog, like there are ways to put all 3 of those things together and people will relate to it.
I just want to note that I think I taught you something, which I can't believe. So I feel really good about myself.
Oh, you did. I'm actually scared for what it would spit out.
No, it's amazing.
No, it's amazing. Notes are like kind of crazy.
I actually think it's the coolest thing. It's like you almost don't need a therapist. I mean, I'm just going to tell it, right? Like most of my notes are written, 10 p.m. after whatever. And I'm like, I either have good ideas or I'm spiraling, right? Like whatever. And it is every category of my life. I can't create content or even ideas if I'm also worrying about how to like file it or organize it.
Yeah.
So AI is just really, it's about taking what you've put out there, wherever you're putting it, and then give you a brief on yourself.
No, it's so funny that you mentioned like the therapy thing. I had a friend that literally told me a few weeks ago, she was like, oh, I stopped going to therapy. And I was like, oh, why? Like, and she's like, well, I just realized I could save hundreds of dollars by going to therapy by just using ChatGPT. And I was like, what? Like, you're crazy. And she was showing me the conversation that she was having with ChatGPT, and it was literally a therapist. I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? I'd save a lot of money on that too.
Like, I'm not here to tell people to stop therapy, okay? You do you. But yes, if there are like certain things you're trying to deal with, and it's like, I've been in therapy, and then you go and you talk about the same thing again and again and again and again, and you're like, I'm not really getting anywhere with this. Like, you can really, I mean, that's what text therapy is. Should we let people know? Like, if all these brands right now, they're like, oh, you can just text your therapist. You're texting AI, like, or with a person with AI. It's all happening. Okay. All right. We promised 3 practical tips. So we've got to get to the 3 practical tips, Sarah. What are the 3 tips for somebody who is listening and they want to create a personal brand, but it's overwhelming?
Yep. The 3 things that I would say that are honestly very simple and you can walk away after hearing this and go apply them instantly is be consistent. Set that time block for 9 a.m. every single day. Do not start your day without posting on LinkedIn. That's my real life example. 2 is don't be afraid to hit post. I know so many people that write something out. They're like, oh, I never posted it. It's just sitting in my drafts. Like, post it. That could be your $1 million video that, all of a sudden spikes your fame overnight or spikes your topic overnight. And next thing you know, you have people following you wanting more of that, right? And the third thing is be confident, because if you don't think that what you have to say is valuable, you might actually lose the opportunity of helping and supporting somebody else out there that's going through the same thing as you. So exactly like what we mentioned in the beginning of this podcast was I was posting cold call videos of me cold calling in my childhood bedroom. And I didn't think that was valuable. I was just kind of doing it for myself, right? But then when I started seeing people say like, oh my God, I'm going through the same thing, I looked myself in the mirror. I was like, wait, this is valuable and people are actually going through this. So I just need to really be confident with what I'm putting out there, knowing that it's helping everyone else. So like, don't hide your ideas and shove them in your draft folder, post them, because you never know what can happen.
I agree. And I think I like how you explained it because it sounds easy, like be confident. And somebody's thinking, but I'm not feeling confident. But the idea there is to look at yourself and tell yourself that what you think is valuable. Even if you don't feel confident, post it anyway.
Yep.
Because what you're going to find out is that it is not just you, which is one of my favorite terms, right? Because I think that a million times a day. Like, is it just me or no? The quick answer is no. What I have found out from work in progress, right, and all these conversations is no matter who you are watching out there and you think they have it figured out, they do not. Maybe just have confidence in your ability to help other people. I'm like, you know what? By posting and sharing this, I'm helping somebody else feel like maybe it's not just them. So whatever you need to do, kind of get in that headspace, those 3 tips are great.
Yeah, I love that you just said that too, because literally the other day I was just like standing in front of my camera, which usually I just start blabbing, and I'm like, yeah, that's good. I'll just post it. And I started speaking and I was like, no, no, no. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm having a content block and this doesn't happen. And then I literally spoke about having a content block. And I was just like, I am coming on here and I am just having one of those days where I literally can't gather my thoughts and I don't even know what to talk about. And normalize having a day where you feel like that. And I just spoke about like what I was feeling in that moment. And people were like, thank you so much for sharing, because this is how I felt the last 2 weeks and I can't get past it. And then a lot of people were like, how are you trying to overcome this? Like, how are you trying to get back on track? And then that was a whole nother topic of video too. It's like, I told you guys I was having a content block. I told you guys I was having, just like a mental block with work. And these are some of the things that I'm trying to do to stay on track. And it was like working out, having a routine, and time blocking. And that was like a whole nother part too to that. So it really does just show like all of this combines into a certain bucket that helps other people as well, not only just yourself.
You mentioned video. and we haven't talked about that. I'm down with being on camera, obviously. However, I will say I have no idea how to approach like the last, just like you do. Like, I'm just going to put my phone on, I'm going to hit record, I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to post it because I feel like I'm on the older side. I don't know how people are doing the
No, you're
copy.
not. No, you're not.
Whatever. Okay. But I'm like, I can't even keep up. I literally am like, what is this sticker thing and this AI thing and the music and the other shit? And it feels like a fucking lot and I don't have time. So even if I'm like happy to do it, I'm like, I don't really have time. And so I don't. So can you give some quick tips for people like me who would like to do video every day, but it feels too time consuming?
Yeah, I think honestly for me, it really does go back to the confidence piece because when I think about what I want to say in terms of a sales tip, I know that that tip works, right? So in my head, I'm like, I need to get this out on video now because I don't want to lose my thought. And really, all it does, it takes me 2 minutes. I literally record in TikTok, which will make a lot of people pass out when they hear this because they're like, oh my God, no, like you have to record it outside of the app and then you need to go into CapCut and you need to edit it and this and that. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Just like if you have a quick thought, go into the TikTok app, hit record and just, tap away with some valuable statements that you have to say, right? Especially if you're confident in that topic and you know it's going to help somebody else because it helps you as well. And I literally stick my little phone like on the window, like that's
Yes.
exactly where it is because that's where the natural light is. So also, yeah, there you go. Don't think you need this whole professional setup, this tripod, this and that. Like my apartment has awful natural light. The only natural light that comes in is from our one window that we have. Like I just hit record and literally it'll be a 60-second video, for example, right before I hopped on with you. This is how you overcome the I'm not interested objection on a cold call because it had just happened to me 2 hours ago. So I was like, this is how I overcome it. This is how I booked the meeting, knowing that it's going to help somebody else. I didn't care about the way I looked. I knew I was confident with what I was saying and I knew it was going to help somebody else. So at the end of the day, it's like, that's all you need. Like that's the perfect formula. So don't overthink you need this whole studio production. You need a tripod. You need a really good camera. You need editing skills. I am the worst editor on the planet. Like I will not edit. Like I'm like good at clipping some things out and that's about it. But you don't need this whole elaborate setup to be really good at what you're speaking about and to be a knowledge expert in your space. You just don't.
All right, let's get to the fun stuff. I have a million more questions on this topic. So let's have our listeners comment, ask questions, because I'm sure you all have a lot like I do. And we can get Sara to come back if you give us some questions. So throw them out there. Okay, before we finished, I have my fun questions. And this is a highly controversial topic that I did not think would be. Coffee or tea?
Oh, coffee.
I mean, it doesn't sound like a hard question, right? But people are very serious and polarized about their preferences. So coffee, what kind of coffee?
I would not be able to start my day without my mocha pot. Okay. So in this little contraption, we do water. There's a little filter where you put all your espresso in, fresh espresso ground beans, whatever, of your choosing. And then it comes out of the top here. I don't know if you could see. So literally, I just finished making fresh espresso, and I'm a huge iced coffee girl, which a lot of people know. And I will put that fresh espresso in the fridge. I let it cool, so I have my whole cup in there right now. And then I literally make a fresh iced latte. So my go-to is iced latte, almond milk, fresh espresso, and then the Chobani cookie dough creamer. So,
oh, my daughter loves that one.
Yeah. I am really addicted to right now. And then I literally keep looking over here because I built a coffee bar like into my apartment. Like I literally had a contractor come and everything. This was just like a wall. And I was like, yeah, no, this needs to be a coffee bar.
That's amazing. I'm so glad I asked you. Who knew that you were going to be this coffee aficionado?
Oh, yeah. Connoisseur. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to buy one of those.
Yeah.
I love coffee. But so now we're seeing some differences between Sara and Gail.
Gail, we're also very similar, which I feel like we're parting ways here, but we always come back.
No, we're not parting ways.
Yeah, no,
I'm learning from you and you're learning from me. That's good.
Yeah.
No, we have so much in common. We're going to get there. Don't worry, Sara. Okay. So for Work in Progress, the podcast, we have a playlist on Spotify. Check it out.
Okay.
And we add to it all the time from all of our guests. and listeners. So just like, what is your favorite song to throw on when you need to get pumped to cold call and you're not feeling it?
Wake Me Up by Avicii.
Oh, I don't know that one.
What? Yes, you do. No, yes, you do.
Are you going to sing it?
Feel my way through the darkness, guided by a beating heart. So wake me up when it's all over.
Okay.
When I'm wiser and I'm older. I'm not going to keep going. I'll
This
scare.
is the best. Coffee and the music. Okay. Now we got one for you and me. So if you didn't know, Sara and I are both from Long Island, born and raised. So where were you raised, Sara?
Massapequa.
Yeah, Massapequa, Oceanside.
There you go.
But really, I lived in Baldwin, for those who are like Long Island natives, and went to Oceanside School. So we were both on the Babylon Railroad.
Yes.
We can
Babylon
both do
Railroad.
the Long Island Railroad, all aboard. Love the Long Island accent. We could do the whole episode next time.
Babylon, Baldwin, Massapequa.
Massapequa Park, Amityville, Copeg, Lindenhurst, and Babylon.
And Babylon.
Into Jamaica for all other stops. So
Good.
yeah.
It's really good.
We're going to meet on Long Island. We're going to have coffee. Okay. But my question for you is, what is your favorite Long Island spot? Like,
Oh, All American.
what's All
You're
American?
not from Long Island.
What is All American?
What do you mean? What's All American?
I truly don't know if you're talking about a restaurant, a bar, a clothing brand. Like, what is All American?
Gail. Like, you need to look up All American right now in Massapequa. Burgers and Franks?
Oh, I've never heard of it. You have to take me there, obviously.
Gail, everyone's going to be confused. They're like, you are going to get wrecked in the comments for being from Long Island and not knowing All American.
Is it like an institution that's been there for a long time?
Years, since like the 1950s.
I was like, where are you going to go? You're like, years, since 1999. No.
Yeah, quarter pounder, large fried chocolate shake, and my bill's like $4.50.
I've literally never heard of it.
I'm shocked. I'm literally shocked. There's no way. You got to go. Like, go tomorrow and text me that you went.
Okay. So you took all of the good works from your personal brand that you were building while you're at Pareto and started your own business where you are training other salespeople, right?
Yep.
So what is SellingSara? What is it that you're doing now?
So SellingSara is sales training specifically around cold calling and social selling. However, we definitely go past that, but definitely tailored towards any salesperson. Seriously, like straight out of college, all the way to tenured people that have been in the role for years and years and years. We have 6 workshops that follow the sales cycle. That's pretty much where we focus our time. Training teams are on those workshops. So I always was that salesperson that hated being off the sales floor for like a 3-day boot camp. I was like, I have a target to hit. It's Friday, it's Wednesday, I'm behind. Like, someone just tell me what's working right now so I can go and do it. Like, I'm not gonna be afraid, just tell me what it is. And the really cool thing, probably the thing that separates us the most, is that those workshops are only 60 minutes. So, it's like, here's what works, go and apply it. You're going to see results within 60 minutes after the workshop, right? So it's less methodology, more of like, just go freaking do this because this is what's working right now.
I love that. I feel like that every day in my job. Like if somebody could just tell me as founder and CEO of a
like,
marketing
what do I
agency,
do? Yeah,
just tell me what's working, I'll go do it.
exactly.
So that's amazing. I'm not surprised that you're having a great success with it. Sara, this has been fantastic. We have given so many helpful tips to our listeners, and I really can't wait to hear what questions everybody has because I have more and you're coming back. And then we'll also review the local Long Island eateries that I have not been to. But tell our listeners where they can find you. Obviously, TikTok and all these places, but how should they find you?
Yeah, just SellingSara on TikTok and Instagram, and then Sara Uy on LinkedIn. So that's it.
Okay, amazing. So yeah, let us hear from you, everyone, and we'll be back soon. Thanks so much, Sara.
Thanks for having me, Gail.
I hope that was helpful. If you know someone that you go to for this topic, send them my way. After all, we're just figuring this out together. See you next time.